In today's episode, we're having the best day ever at the Animal Kingdom with Sharpie from mousechat.net.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
You are listening to the Main Street Magic Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy Stein and John Marone.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I am your host, Jeremy Stein, and I am not joined by my friend and co-host, John Marone, today. However, I am joined by a very special guest, that is Chris Sharps, or better known as Sharpie, from the Mouse Chat Podcast. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Howdy. How's it going?
It is going well. So Chris or Sharpie? Are you only Sharpie when you're on Mouse Chat because of the two Chris's?
Yeah, I can be Sharpie anytime. That's kind of especially with Mouse Chat. That's kind of my thing. I'm Sharpie. As I always joke, I'm indelible. So
I like it. Well, in today's episode, we're going to talk about how you can have the absolute best day ever at the Animal Kingdom. And this will be part one of a two-part series of my conversation with Sharpie. So make sure you check back and you listen to part two. And before we get into that, I just do want to learn a little bit more about you and let our listeners know a little bit more about you. So you live in West Virginia. Is that where you're from? Have you been there your whole life?
I am West Virginia, born and raised, the son of a coal miner and a church secretary. I grew up in the heart of the southern coal fields of West Virginia in Boone County, way down south. I grew up about 40 minutes south of the capital city of Charleston. We live about 20 minutes south of Morgantown, West Virginia, a little town called Fairmont. I work for West Virginia University. My wife and I have three boys that we adopted from the foster care system after being foster parents for about 10 months. So they are tremendous blessings in our lives. They're absolute joys. We love sharing all things Disney with them, of course.
That's great. So how old are they?
Our boys are 6, 8, and 9. So
yeah. So my parents retired to the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area about 12, 13 years ago, and they have volunteered for about 10 years for a company down there called Fostering Hope. And so they provide help and care to foster families. They help provide school supplies, clothing. So that's very cool. I like that connection there.
Awesome.
So obviously, I mean, Disney is world renowned. What, being in West Virginia, was that something that when you were young was always an annual trip for your family, or when did you first go to Disney, and when did that love for Disney start for you?
We had one Disney trip as a family, and that was in 1985, back when there were two parks.
Yeah.
I remember Magic Kingdom and Epcot. And we stayed off property. It was kind of one of those once in a lifetime family trips. We drove down and spent I think we spent one day at Magic Kingdom and one day at Epcot. So Epcot wasn't too old at that point in time. Neither was I. Epcot and I are actually Epcot is celebrating its 35th birthday this year, and so am I.
Oh, that's great.
So it wasn't too old then, but I have very distinct memories of that trip, and I'm a very visual. I have a lot of visual memories that just kind of etch into my brain. So I always wanted to go back, of course. When it came time to plan our honeymoon, I was kind of the naysayer on going to Disney for a honeymoon. Some places kind of more adults only, but oh my gosh, I'm so glad we went to Disney for our honeymoon.
Yes.
It was amazing. We spent the week at Wilderness Lodge, just celebrated our 11-year anniversary once again at Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah.
So it was pretty spectacular. But yeah, it was that was what started it all. Before the end of that trip, I was saying, when are we going to come back?
Oh yeah.
When are we going to come back?
I think that's how it always is at Disney. So when were you coming back? How often per year are you going to Disney? Is it always a family trip? Is some of it revolved around Mouse Chat and kind of the business of that, or what does that look like?
So our second trip back together was in 2008. 2008, because we did not go in 2007, and that was the last year that I have not been to Disney, was 2007.
Okay.
We go several times a year. Several years we're annual pass holders. We actually bought our DVC membership on that trip back in 2008. We had done some research. We knew that Disney was kind of our thing. We knew we loved it. But yeah, so that was bought our DVC membership on that second trip back in 2008, and have since purchased a couple more DVC point contracts. Sure. So yeah, so we have our favorite Disney Vacation Club resort is Disney's Hilton Head Island Resort.
Okay.
It's spectacular. We absolutely love going there. But back to the world. So yeah, we have been going several times a year, and then it has been about 6 years ago, I think, either 6 or 7 years. Yeah, about 7 years ago, we kind of got the idea. We love vacation planning, our Disney trips, and we had booked with a much larger travel agency on our previous trips, and we really didn't receive much help at all from them beyond the actual booking of it. So we thought we can do this. So we actually signed on with pixievacations.com, and my wife and I are both travel agents with Pixie Vacations. So we enjoy helping other families get the most out of not only their vacation dollar, but also their vacation time. And we hold both of those things very near and dear to our hearts, because we know how precious of a resource both vacation time and money are. So that's something we really enjoy, helping other people plan their Disney vacation trips. We also book other destinations beyond Disney, but Disney is the mouse in our house. So so we love our Disney vacations.
So was the Pixie Vacations then how you got into being a part of Mouse Chat?
Yes, it was. So
and how long have you been doing that?
Oh gosh, I think it is about 4 years now, 4.5, 5 years maybe. Probably around 4. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, right around 4 years. Life gets so busy you lose track of time, right?
For sure. No, I know how that feels. So was that something you heard about then with Mouse Chat, and you just thought, you love Disney, you love talking about Disney, obviously. It's something you're passionate about. Did it start more as just, hey, I want to talk to Disney about, with Disney, with other people about Disney, and then in that knowing that you were going to help give, tips and advice to other people, or was it something that was more aligned with the Pixie Vacations and you thought, well, these two just go hand in hand?
Well, I mean, one of my biggest interests is what I consider the business of Disney.
Yeah.
Really kind of looking at them strategically and what they do as a company and how that impacts what they do and how their fans, not only here in the U.S. but also around the world, perceive the magic making that is Disney. But really it was more that they had a vacancy on the show and reached out and said, hey, we think you'd be a really good fit. And you have some really kind of keen insights on what some of the things that Disney does. So I said, sure, I'd definitely be up for that. So
yeah,
kind of gave it a trial period. And here I am several years later, still chatting on with our Mouse Chat podcast.
Yeah.
Steve and Lisa Griswold are the primaries on Mouse Chat, and they are the owners of Pixie Vacations. If you saw the most recent vacation movie, the National Lampoon's most recent movie, the American Queen Family Truckster, that was featured in that movie is actually owned by the Griswolds.
That is the coolest thing ever.
I've actually gotten to ride in the truckster. Man. It is legendary. It is it brings back so many family vacation memories.
Oh yeah.
In the back of a station wagon. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that's, obviously because you and I are only a few years apart. I got about 3 years on you, but
yeah.
We grew up with those movies, and I mean, of course, Christmas Vacation is probably still one of my all-time favorite movies. And I think part of the reason is, I mean, my dad,
such a classic.
Yeah, my dad was Clark Griswold. I mean, everything about him. Even we have friends that know my dad, and they're just like, man, he is Clark Griswold. So when I was, when I first came about and found out about Mouse Chat and started listening to you guys, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. But you're such a great fit for the show, and one of the things that impresses me so much is just your knowledge of all things Disney. And so with that, when I reached out to you to be on our show, we started talking about what the topic should be, and you mentioned that Animal Kingdom was your favorite park, and I thought, well, you know what? I was thinking of doing a series on each of the individual parks and how you can kind of have the best day ever in that park, because we know, as you said, so much planning goes into a Disney vacation, and if you just try and wing it, you're going to miss out a lot of things. Now, you and I are fortunate enough that we can go back, more than once in a lifetime or more than once every couple years. So sometimes we might miss out on something that we can hit next trip. But, there's some people that plan this once a year or they plan this once a lifetime. And so that's what I want to talk to you about today, is giving insight, for one, about Animal Kingdom and how they can have the absolute best day ever from open to close. So why Animal Kingdom? Why is that the park that you chose when we were kind of spitballing a topic?
Oh, I just love I love the park for so many reasons, and usually when someone asks me that, they're like, it's so not what Disney is all about, because it's all about the Magic Kingdom and the fantasy worlds and all that stuff, and Epcot's all about the promise and the future of tomorrow, and let's get together all around the world, and Hollywood Studios is all about the entertainment industry aspect of Disney.
Yeah.
But Animal Kingdom at its very core is all about the fantasy that is in this world that we live in.
Yeah.
So looking beyond the surface of the water, both literally and physically, Animal Kingdom is the park that speaks most honestly to what real life is.
Yeah.
And it's that level of wonder and awe for this great creation that we are so blessed to be a part of and live in and experience, from the quietest, the most peaceful day, relaxing under a shade tree, to the kind of the most violent images of nature and what the Lion King paints as the circle of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so from the moment you step into that park, you have to kind of adopt a different mindset. Most times, a lot of especially first-time visitors, they want to cram everything in. They want to get all the attractions. They want to do all the stuff. But the thing with Animal Kingdom is you have to kind of take a step back from what you're expecting out of a theme park day and expect the unexpected to happen. And so much of that happens when you stop and just take in what the animals are doing. What are the animals up to? Whether it be monkeys, whether it be the giant gorillas, whether it be out on the safari and seeing the Nile crocodiles or seeing the white rhino. Some of these animals that you're going to see out on the savannah are within the last 5 or 10,000 of their species alive on the planet.
Yeah.
So really taking that in and understanding what it's like, and I kind of go big view here, especially talking about the Animal Kingdom of what it's like to be a human animal on this earth at this specific time, because of all the history that came before us and everything that's going to happen after us, is that celebration of life right now. And that's really kind of the thing that I really enjoy most about Disney's Animal Kingdom, is because it really focuses on what it means to be alive, and really kind of exploring that whole facet of the world around us, and really enjoying and understanding our part in that great big, once again, that great big circle of life, and understanding and spending time with our family and those we love. That's what we do as human animals. That's kind of how we connect and reconnect to one another, is that value of an underlying connectedness that exists. So taking a step back, the first thing that you do when you enter the Animal Kingdom is you walk through what's known as the Oasis. All the other Disney parks, when you enter, that kind of entry alley is that place where it really builds you up and it gets you excited for the day. If you think about walking into the Magic Kingdom, you're walking down Main Street. You've got the castle in front of you. You've got the trolley coming at you. You've got the marching band going. All that stuff is kind of meant to build up that excitement. But the Animal Kingdom's the opposite of that. Whenever you walk in, you have this oasis of peace. That kind of you hear the sound of running water. You have the animals around you. You can hear the macaws that they have out on the perches. really just kind of a place to check out of that busyness of the world around you, either whether it was that bus ride or that car ride in. It's that place to kind of disconnect instead of connect and get more excited. It's kind of that place to disconnect and relax.
Yeah.
So take your time, go through the oasis, and take in whether it be the foliage around you or whether it be the animals that are out. There's usually all sorts of wildlife experts that are there in that area to kind of explain the animals that are there. So take a minute, meet those animals, greet them, and kind of in that yoga spirit of namaste.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I absolutely love this and love your passion, because up until recently, I think Animal Kingdom was my fourth favorite park. And, you know, I'd grown up on Magic Kingdom when I would visit as a kid. And even once I started taking my family back, you know, Magic Kingdom is Walt Disney World. That's the iconic that
Yep.
I think most people you ask, well, what's your favorite? And they almost just say Magic Kingdom without thinking about it.
Right.
And it was so weird. Animal Kingdom, and you'll still hear people say this, and I'm sure you hear it. Everybody would say, "Oh, it's a half-day park." You know, it's a half-day park, and
Yeah,
and I
people
used to
say
think that, and
it's an awful rumor.
it is. It's horrible. And one thing that you'll find from me that I love Disney so much is the way that they immerse you into things, whether it's a resort, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a park or a ride. And
Yep.
what it was just, and I don't even know what the changing point was, but I remember walking into Animal Kingdom, you know, maybe 6-7 months ago, and it felt like the first time, and I don't know what clicked, and I just thought, like, I'm really somewhere else. You know,
Yeah.
you get lost in the other parks, and you're happy that you're at Disney, but there's something about Animal Kingdom that truly immerses you into that specific culture or that specific land or part of the country, because
Yep.
no detail, you know, has been overlooked. And as you look around, there's nothing but, you know, trees and plants and sky and animals. And it's just, you're right. And I'd never really thought about it until this moment that, you know, obviously the Tree of Life is kind of the iconic center point, the way that all the other parks have it. But you're right, as you walk through that oasis, it does the opposite of everywhere else. And until you just said that, it never really clicked to me, because, and I can't wait to go back now and take that time. You know, I'm the type that will get in there and think, all right, let's get kind of across that bridge, you know, where the Tree of Life is, and then we're starting our day either left or right. And it's so important to take the time and see everything that there is to offer as you walk in. So when you're going there for the day, and let's just say you're going from open to close, and this is maybe, you know, you're on a 4-day trip and you're doing one park a day. So you only have the time, you know, from about 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. when the park opens to close on regular hours to enjoy the day. 60 days out, what fast passes are you getting first?
Oh, as you know, this has definitely changed
Yes.
since the advent of Pandora, the world of Avatar. Definitely, especially with the tiered system, you kind of have to grab that flight of passage.
Yeah. And you better grab it at 7 a.m. 60 days out.
Exactly. Yeah, because the biggest thing with flight of passage, it is as much as you can kind of draw some similarities to it and Soarin', it is a completely different ride system.
Yeah.
And the immersive quality, not only of just entering Pandora, but also then the entire queue line, all the theming that takes place. You don't find many signs in Pandora.
Yeah.
The what attracts you to the opening of the entrance of the attraction are icons. It's like a kind of like almost like a totem type figure. But especially with Flight of Passage, the experience that you have there is that you're connecting with your Banshee, and your Banshee is taking you for a flight out on Pandora.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really awesome. The way how high the screen is, how immersive it is, the smells that you experience, it is really just kind of a almost sensory overload in some elements, because you really do get so engaged in that storyline of what it's like on Pandora, this place that's so far out of this world. But if you've watched the movie, you know there are so many parallels to what's happening here on our planet.
Yeah.
So once again, a lot of people said Pandora, Avatar. What's the connection there? But it's such. I remember seeing this movie for the first time when it was first released in theaters. We saw it in 3D. It was the most stunning movie visually I have ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful. So for them to bring that world to life with just one movie is out there right now. Just that one Avatar movie, but more is on the way. More on the way.
Yeah, and they do, like Disney always does, they do such an incredible job with the pre-show that I've talked to several people that have not seen the movie and they don't plan to, and they still felt connected because of that outstanding pre-show that Disney does.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they really do a great job of telling the whole story. Of course, if you've seen the movie, you're going to know more of the details and more of the backstory. But if you, for the first time, just walk up to that attraction and ride it, you're going to walk away with that understanding and that feeling of what the movie and consequently the land, what that's all about.
Yeah. So you have two other fast pass choices. What are they going to be? And then are you the type that just does almost fast passes back to back to back and you just run around like a nut, or are you spacing them out in certain ways that you know you're going to make your way around Animal Kingdom?
Specifically for Animal Kingdom, if you plan your day far enough in advance just by looking at the map, you're going to hit some kind of critical things at specific times.
Yeah.
I probably would not make my fast pass reservation for Flight of Passage first thing in the morning. I would probably make it about mid-morning. What I would most likely do is try to hit the Navi River journey first thing in the morning without a fast pass.
Mm-hmm.
Because not a lot of people are going to rope drop that attraction. So if you're there, make it in, get to that attraction. And because once you get that kind of first attraction of the day out of the way, take your time.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day. But from there, I would make my way through the back path over to Africa, and I would have breakfast at Tusker House. Tusker House is one of the best character breakfasts that you're going to find on property. I'm not a huge fan of Chef Mickey's. Honestly, I've eaten there a couple times, and the food isn't all that great.
Yeah.
I mean, they really kind of rush your experience. Not too much fun, in my opinion. It's good. It's a classic Disney restaurant, and you probably won't be disappointed with it. But back to Tusker House, I love the characters in their safari gear. I think that's really cool. You don't see them out in that costume and in other parks, so that's just really cool. And plus, it's really cool because you get your traditional American breakfast fare, but there's also a good deal of international type of breakfast foods available, especially stuff with that kind of distinctly African flavor palette.
Yeah.
So those are great things that you can give it a try.
Yeah, and there's something for everyone there. So whether you're a picky eater or you're adventurous, everybody's going to be happy.
And also whether you're not really on a specific diet or whether you're kind of trying to lean more toward the healthy diet,
right.
There's plenty there, no matter what your diet is. And that's kind of something other about me too, is I've kind of spent the last little over 4 years kind of on a weight loss journey. So that's definitely focusing on my health and making sure that I'm doing all I can to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And I never really thought about that too much in terms of Disney food until I started really focusing on that. And then that's something I always kind of check out and see what healthy options are out there. Of course, I don't really follow exactly closely on the most healthy diet at Disney. Yeah. But it's definitely something that I tried definitely to kind of keep that on balance during my trips there.
Yeah.
But yeah, breakfast at Tusker House, that's definitely high on my list. Right after breakfast, I would probably have a fast pass for Kilimanjaro Safari.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something that I always recommend doing first thing in the morning. And the biggest reason for that is because you're going to see a lot of the animals out eating. because they do feed them first thing in the morning. So you have them out kind of foraging and looking for their food. That's such a classic Animal Kingdom attraction. It's changed a little bit over the years in that it used to have a little bit kind of an overlay of a storyline that was told throughout with the search for poachers and Little Red and all that stuff. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Make sure that you're looking out of both sides of the safari vehicle. The one thing about Kilimanjaro Safari is having a great guide makes all the difference. We have had some absolutely phenomenal guides, and then we've had some where we were like, if that's the first time I'd ever ridden that, I'd probably never ride it again.
Yeah, you have to put so much on those tour guides, kind of like you can with Jungle Cruise sometimes.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It can be hit or miss. So, I think for people that maybe they do that first ride, if it's not a great tour guide and they have the opportunity to do it again, they should definitely go back and do it again because it can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah, especially if you have kids and your kids love animals, definitely plan to do that attraction more than once and do it at different times of the day, so that way you can kind of see the savannah at a couple different times a day. But yeah, we had a guide once. It was awful. Oh, you're right. You're gonna see a giraffe, and then like you expect
more
details. You're
right.
Like, tell us about what type of giraffe.
Yeah. Well, that's what I love about those though is that. You know, again, you can have such a different experience each time you go. Now, hopefully, they're always good, but I still
right.
And then there's even those ones where you know what's coming or you know the joke's coming, and I enjoy watching other people that maybe it's their first time and they haven't experienced it, and I know what's coming. You know, I know a giraffe joke is coming, but I get to watch them experience it for the first time, and I think there's just something cool about that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the thing I love the most about Jungle Cruise over at Magic Kingdom. But
I know you love Jungle Cruise.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah. So you do the safari. What's kind of next? Are you working your way around, and then what other fast pass are you working into your journey around Animal Kingdom?
So the next thing that I of course would do is there are 2 trails that you're going to find at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and that's the Gorilla Falls Trail and the Maharaja Jungle Trek. So those are the 2 that you're going to find. The Gorilla Falls Trail is the one that is immediately adjacent to the exit of Kilimanjaro Safari. Mm-hmm. So definitely take the time while you're in that area to do that. And that's what you're going to spend. You're going to spend, if you go through all of the animal exhibits and really take in what they have to offer, you're going to spend at least an hour on that trail.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to see, there's so much to learn. Just take a few minutes, and that's once again. Throw your kind of rushed clock schedule of a Disney vacation kind of out the window, and take that time to kind of disconnect and enjoy and watch the animals, watch them in their habitat, and you can really begin to see how much we have in common with those animals because we are human animals.
Yeah.
And just how they take care of their young, especially if there are babies around, and just how they watch out what their senses are doing. So it's really kind of awesome to watch that. But yeah, so definitely take the time there, spend the time looking at the scenery, look for the animals, try to find them. Take advantage of the naturalists that are along the trail, the biologists. They're always more than happy to answer any kind of questions that you or your children may have. Take advantage of them. They're just they're a wealth of knowledge, and usually they are very, very, very passionate about the animals that they are there to explain about. There to bring those to life. The other kind of really cool thing, if you have young children, is the Wilderness Explorer. Mm-hmm. If you're familiar with the movie Up, you have Wilderness Explorer stations all throughout the parks where you can kind of stop and learn something, and they have a kind of a passport book where you can kind of earn your merit badges. And there's definitely a lot of those throughout the trail, the exploration trails too. So once you exit Gorilla Falls, your next stop that you're going to want to make is Rafiki's Planet Watch.
Yeah.
Rafiki's Planet Watch is a short train ride out to the animal care station. So if you go early in the morning, you're likely going to find, especially on a weekday morning, you're likely going to find them doing some type of veterinary check on some type of animal. We've seen everything from birds on that exam table all the way up to a tiger.
Oh, awesome.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
So getting to watch that, and they kind of walk you through exactly what they're doing, and there's usually a veterinary specialist outside of that room explaining what's going on, because there's glass there so you can see that, but there are also different cameras positioned inside that room that you can watch, so you can really kind of take in what's going on out there. But then also beyond that whole area where you can kind of experience what it's like to care for the animals, you have the affection section, which is the petting zoo. Who doesn't love goats?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I love the goats. They're awesome.
It's
also,
so much fun.
Yep. Everything. And if you're lucky, there's also a stage show out there. You might time it right to where you can kind of take in the stage show out there, where you might just get to meet Willie the aardvark.
Mm-hmm.
Willie is an aardvark. Meet the aardvark. Aardvarks are cool.
They are. That's a big draw there.
Exactly. Not to be confused with anteaters. They're two different things. Especially the giant anteater at the front of the park. Ante, as I love to call the anteater located at the front of the park. The anteater was gone for a long time, but the anteater is back, which made me very happy.
Yes. Everybody's happy about that.
Exactly. Glad to see the giant anteater back.
Yeah, and it's so funny because we won't when we go over there. I won't go into that building first. I make my wife and kids go because often we have seen one of the employees out showing off snakes right in the middle, and I stay as far away from snakes as I possibly can. So I was surprised once when I walked in there and was standing a few feet from a giant snake. So now I send the kids and the wife in first, and then they can text me and tell me if there's a snake in there or not, and I know whether I can enter. But that's the way it just goes for me. I will stand around a corner and make sure that I can't have a view. So there's some things with Animal Kingdom that I worry about, that there's just going to be something around a corner that I don't know. Even down, they when you come out of Dinerland, they have a little kiosk, and it's got those rubber coily snakes that when you hold them by the head, and it's a toy, and you hold it by the head, and that thing looks so real. And I walked about 2 feet away from one that a cast member was holding one time, and jumped out of my skin. And so now I'm always on high alert. But that's a whole other issue that I'll probably have to see a therapist about one of these days eventually. But let's get back to you and your day at Animal Kingdom. And if there's other snakes in your plan, that's cool. We can still talk about that.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll always enjoy the snakes, but yeah. So Rafika's Planet Watch, the affection section, all the veterinary stuff that's out there. Definitely go check that out. Take the train ride out there. It's definitely worth the time. But whenever you come out, definitely take some time to kind of go back through the village and begin to make your way through the back pathway over to Asia. Be sure to kind of there's a great opportunity to look at the back of the Tree of Life. Totally different animals on the back side, front side, each side. Look at the Tree of Life in every direction, because you're going to see all those animals that are kind of carved in and kind of making their way out of the Tree of Life. It's really awesome. But your next stop over there, which I'm so sad to say, the Flights of Wonder show is ending at the end of December.
I'm so disappointed.
From what I understand. Yeah. So they're making way for an anniversary show as Animal Kingdom gets ready to celebrate its 20th anniversary.
Yes.
So pretty excited for that, to see what's in store, but really sad to see Flights of Wonder go. If you're going to Disney before the end of December, be sure to check it out.
Yeah,
it's a really great show.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure we see it one last time. I think it's been so underrated. It's one of those shows that people don't really talk about, but it is such a great show. It's so entertaining. It's hilarious. Both of my daughters have had an opportunity to go up there and interact and be a part of the show. So if you go and you've got kids, have them raise their hand when they're asking for volunteers. And there's even some parts that you and as an adult, can take part in. So I will be very sad to see that show go.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm excited to see what's coming, but also sad to see it go.
Yeah.
But as you make your way around, and keep in mind, as you've exited Africa, you're going to come back to Africa later this evening.
Yes.
So kind of hold that thought. We're going to go back to Africa. So now that you've made your way kind of over to Asia, a lot of the feeling of Nepal, that area over in the Asia section. There's a lot of great entertainment around that area. Really good opportunities to watch animals, see what's there. Your two big attractions in that corner of the park are Kali River Rapids and Expedition Everest. If you're a roller coaster lover, you will love Expedition Everest. It's one of my favorite roller coasters in any park. Lots of surprises and the Disco Yeti.
Yes.
So, yeah. Oh, come on, Joe. Come on, Joe Rody.
Oh,
Fix the Disco Yeti for us all.
I know.
Do us a favor.
One of these,
Anyway.
maybe they're holding on to it for the 20th anniversary.
We can only hope
That's got to
so.
be it.
We can only hope so. But yeah, so be sure the whole time that you're in the animal kingdom, be sure to notice the ground under your feet. Because there's all like the theming, the ground under your feet will tell the story of the land that you're in. It's really, really spectacular.
Yeah.
Because the roads in Africa, the pathways in Africa look and feel totally different than the roadways over in the Asia section.
Yeah.
The bike tire prints that are in that concrete, really, really cool. So just be sure to take the time. One of the biggest things about Animal Kingdom is your food locations are not as frequent as what you're going to find in other parks. So you really have to kind of plan out what you're going to do, what time you're going to eat. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we typically do like to enjoy a bigger breakfast.
Yeah.
Is so we can kind of wait and do a later kind of lunch / dinner. It kind of makes sense with the way you tour that park. And especially the amount of time that you want to spend. And then of course your second trail, besides the Gorilla Falls Trail, is over in Asia, and that is the Maharaja Jungle Trek. And that's where you're going to see the tigers. So you're definitely going to want to take the trip out through there. And one of the coolest things about the Maharaja Jungle Trek is the aviary. Such cool birds. You can walk through there. There's at least one, if not two, naturalists on the inside of the aviary, and they're usually handing out identification cards so you can identify the birds. It is a free flight aviary, so the birds are going to be kind of at your feet, kind of around you. If you're like Guano Joe and you have a fear of birds, stay away. And remember, birds hate trees.
Yeah.
They hate trees.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
So,
And don't look up with your mouth open.
Yeah. If you're gonna look up in awe, be sure it's silent awe.
It's those tips sometimes people need. They're not sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't take food in.
Yep.
Yeah, just some really cool. The vivid colors of the birds. It's a marvel.
Yeah.
I absolutely
It
love
is
that.
amazing in there.
I'm a lover of birds to start with, and that whole area is just so engaging.
Yeah.
So once you exit there, if you've never ridden Kali River Rapids, it is a gigantic family float ride. You will get wet.
Yes.
You could potentially get soaked.
Yes.
You could potentially get drenched. You could potentially exit that ride without a square inch of dry anything anywhere on or near your body.
Yeah, and you don't know it's that's another one of those that I often get stuck watching other people that I know haven't experienced it before. And especially when it gets to that moment where they think they're in the clear, and last second, it switches. My only issue with that ride is it is so short.
It's
very anticlimactic.
And it's a lot of water in a very short amount of time.
Yes, yeah, for sure. But it's one of those come summer in Florida. I mean, shoot, about eight months out of the year. That's a hot ticket. So sometimes, depending on the month and the heat and the way our day's looking, we will get a fast pass for that if it's going to be middle of the afternoon, in July or August. Yeah.
And then you can kind of take a couple hours to dry off.
Oh, for sure. Well, let's wrap it up for today, Sharpie, and we will get back to the rest of the day at Animal Kingdom as we continue to have the best day ever. Make sure you check out Sharpie and all his friends on the Mouse Chat podcast, where you can find them at mousechat.net. That's all I got for now. We'll see you real soon.